A very good afternoon, guys. Today I am starting one of the most important chapter of your syllabus, SYBAF Semester 4, Cash Flow Statement. Cash Flow Statement, the last chapter of Management Accounting. A very important chapter, not only from the syllabus point of view, but also from practical life point of view. Every company, every corporate, when they publish their accounts, along with the accounts, they are supposed to make cash flow statement compulsory. It is mandatory, compulsory for every company to make a cash flow statement. What it is, I'll now come into depth, but as I told you, keep this in mind. Not only important from your exam and syllabus point of view, but also very much practical oriented. As I told you, every company compulsory has to make cash flow statement. Before that, if you see what I have written, cash flow statement brackets में AS3. You all have done this bit in FYJC. Of course, it was just basic only. And other years also you all have studied a bit. F5BAF may you all have done accounting standards. You all had limited standards. AS3 means accounting standard 3. Accounting standard 3. What is accounting standard? It is a standard for accounts which gives you the norms on the basis of which accounting principle and practices are to be followed. Every asset, every liability, most of them have their own standards where according to standards you have to maintain your accounts. So AS3, accounting standard 3, is based on cash flow statement which is mandatory for each company. Compulsory for each company. Accounting standard, you all know, it is a standard set by each country for maintaining uniformity in accounts, and the standard is set by the highest accounting body of that particular country. We are in India, so for us the highest accounting body is ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, has laid this standard of accounting standard 3 where every company has to make a cash flow statement. Getting it? This was the brief introduction. Now, exactly karna kya hai? I'll be making it very simple for you all, but याद रखना मेरा वीडियो थोड़ा लंबा जाएगा. The reason is you all know very well मैं shortcuts use नहीं करता. Now see what will happen. First, to make a cash flow statement, cash flow में क्या करना है I'll tell you now, but to make a cash flow statement you need comparative balance sheets. P&L नहीं चाहिए मुझे, 2 साल का बैलेंस शीट चाहिए. सेम कंपनी का आई नीड 2 years का बैलेंस शीट. इफ आई एम मेकिंग कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट फॉर 2024, I need balance sheet of 2024 and I need balance sheet of 2023. If I am making cash flow statement of 2023, I need 23 का balance sheet and 22 का balance sheet. Now listen, सबसे main, as I told you, let's take an example. You are making cash flow statement for 2024. Now, in cash flow statement, when I say cash, understand this. Cash here would include cash in hand, cash at bank, as well as it will include bank overdraft. Company final accounts में where used to follow schedule 3, bank overdraft was taken as short term borrowings, but यहाँ पे the definition of cash and cash equivalent will be cash in hand, cash at bank, as well as bank overdraft. Keep this in mind. Again, I'm repeating. Cash flow statement में cash would mean cash in hand, that is hard cash, cash at bank, that is bank balance, and bank overdraft. And bank overdraft. That is what constitutes the definition of cash as per AS3. Now listen, karna kya hai? Understand this. As I told you, let's assume we are making cash flow statement of 2024. साल में एक ही बार बनाना है, जो साल का बना रहे हो वही साल का बनाना है. Now if I am making cash flow statement of 2024, what I told you, I need 2024 का बैलेंस शीट as well as 2023 का बैलेंस शीट. I need 2023 का बैलेंस शीट as well as 24 का बैलेंस शीट. Okay, now listen what you are supposed to do. I'm just picking that balance sheet में there is just bank, making it very simple on the very first day introductory lecture है. I'm making it very simple. Cash at bank, that is your bank balance. Now just putting a hypothetical figure. Why this statement is prepared? Purpose क्या है? Say for example 2023 का my bank balance is 50,000. 2023 का my bank balance is 50,000. 2024 my balance of bank, say bank balance is 1,50,000. 2023 का bank balance, I'm just putting figure of bank, hypothetical bank figures. On the last day of 2023, my bank balance is 50,000. Last day of 2024, my bank balance is 1,50,000. That means what? 50 has become 150. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? There is an increase of 1 lakh. There is an increase of 1 lakh rupees. There is an increase of 1 lakh rupees. So now what you are supposed to do, understand this. You have to make a statement showing details. क्या details है? I'll come in sometime. Showing details. ये 50,000 का 150 हुआ कैसे? Cash flow statement means, in this example, you have to make a statement where your shareholders or any stakeholders who are interested in company in some or the other way, they should come to know तुम्हारा 50,000 150 हुआ कैसे. जो 1 लाख का बैंक बैलेंस है, you have to give them summary of full year का cash and bank transaction in short in the form of AS3 prescribed cash flow statement. So it will be a statement where you will be giving a description. ये 50,000 का 150 कैसे हुआ, 1 lakh कैसे बढ़ा, that you will be describing or giving your description in a statement made by you as prescribed under Accounting Standard 3 issued by ICAI, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It's a very practical oriented chapter, as I told you. Slowly I'm coming into the main thing of the chapter. But before that, please understand the basic. You all know very well, I don't rush up. I will be going very slow. Got it? Now guys, listen. I'll just rub this out. Now, when I make a cash flow statement, okay, when I make a cash flow statement, I'll be making a format also with you all, but understand this. Your cash, or you can say bank transaction, यहाँ पे cash means bank also, as I told you. Okay, understand this. This is important. Will be classified in three categories. When you make a statement, you have to divide your statement in three categories. You have to show separately category 1 में कैश बढ़ा या कम हुआ, बैंक बढ़ा या कम हुआ, दैट मीन्स बैंक बैलेंस कम हुआ या बढ़ा. कैटेगरी 2 में, व्हाट इज कैटेगरी 1 2 3, आई विल कम टू दैट. कैटेगरी 1 में कैश बैलेंस या बैंक बैलेंस कम हुआ या बढ़ा. 2 में वेदर इट इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज. 3 में वेदर इट इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज. नाउ रिमेंबर, whatever final answer you get, just understand the basic. फिर मैं डीप में जा रहा हूं. The total of this, the total of this, the total of this, क्या है अभी मैं लिख रहा हूं, has to be equal to 1 lakh. So your cash flow statement has to be divided in three activities. What is that activity? I am coming in 2 minutes. And when you make that statement, whatever answer you get of each activity में या तो cash and bank balance बढ़ेगा या कम होगा, and rarely it will be neutral, that is zero. So whatever answer you get, this plus this has to be equal to 1 lakh. So that statement shows how 50,000 became 1,50,000. ये सेशन पूरा जाएगा. I won't be able to do any sum. Sum I will take it in the next video. Got it? Now listen. Which are the three categories? Important not only from each and every sum point of view, but also from objective point of view. First category is cash flow from operating activities. First category is cash flow from operating activities. Second category is cash flow from investing activities. Second category is cash flow from investing activities. And third is cash flow from financing activities. Getting it? I'll repeat. Cash flow statement will be divided in three parts. Cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. Getting it, guys? Now let's see what will come in all three. I'll just give you a brief description, and then I will pause the video and make the format, the form of cash flow, and make you understand how to present it. Now see, first activity, cash flow from operating activities. Right now, I'm just explaining with the basic. When I make the proforma statement, you will know in detail kya kya aayega. Cash flow from operating activities. As the name suggests, you all are doing it since FYGC. You all have done this SEM also in this subject only, vertical financial statements, where PNL mein you have seen the difference between operating and non-operating activities. Operating activities क्या होता है? Operating activity means that activity which is a part of regular course of business. Operating activity is that activity which is a part of your regular day-to-day business activity. Now say for in my case, you all are watching my video. I am a teacher. You all are my students, correct? Now, my full-time profession is running a commerce tutorial. The fees what I get from my students is a part of my operating activity. The fees what I get from my student is a part of my operating activity. If I invest my surplus money somewhere and I get interest or dividend, or I sell some investment, I get profit loss. That has got nothing to do with my tuition business, tutorial business. That is not a part of operating activities. So, if a company is involved in providing, say, telecommunication services like Jio or say Vodafone, whatever revenue they generate from providing services to their customers in the form of prepaid, postpaid plans, that will be a part of operating activities. So first part, that is part A, cash flow from operating activities means how much cash you have generated, how much cash you have generated by undertaking day-to-day business activities. इसमें there is a specific format that I will come in some time. Right now I am not getting into that. Again I am repeating, मेरा वीडियो थोड़ा बड़ा होगा. Please don't get bored, because if you want to understand concept in deep, you have to watch this and take my words. ये पूरा वीडियो सुनोगे, sums तुम्हारे लिए बहुत easy हो जाएगा. Take my words. Okay? So in short, first A part, cash flow from operating activity means the money or the cash what you generate from your day-to-day operating activities. Got it? Coming to the second part, B. Cash flow from investing activities. As the name suggests, investing. Investing means you are making investments. As the name suggests, investing means you are making investments. Now, what all comes in this? I buy a building for my business, part of investing activities. I buy machinery for my business, investing activity. I make some investments in shares, debentures, investing activities. My property I buy, investing activities. Now listen, my business asset, property, if I give it on rent, the rent what I get, investing activities. I invest in shares, the dividend what I get, investing activities. I invest in bank fixed deposit, invest in debentures, interest what I get, investing activities. I buy asset, investing activities. If I sell assets, if I sell investment, that also is investing activities. So, amounts paid for purchase of assets, purchase of fixed assets, not current, purchase of fixed assets, long-term assets, investments, sale of fixed assets, sale of investments, on the investment made, rent received, interest received, dividend received, all that will be a part of investing activities. Got it? So investing activity means making investment and or encashing the investment and recording the money received as a return on investment made. That is rent received, interest received, dividend received. Understand the basic पूरा मैं डिटेल में करूंगा. यहाँ पे also there are some adjustments, but अभी मैं explain करूंगा तो bouncer जाएगा. When the right time comes in this session only I'll make it. Okay. Now coming to the C part. Cash flow from financing activities. You all are BAF students. तुम्हारा कोर्स का नाम क्या है? BAF फुल फॉर्म क्या है? BCom Accounting and Finance. You all have studied in SYBAF, FM only, Introduction to Financial Management. You all had the first theory chapter, that is sources of finance, correct? So when I say cash flow from financing activity, financing activity में आएगा money received and money paid from various sources of finance, like I issue equity shares, financing activity. Whether I issue at par, premium or discount doesn't matter, but it will be a part of financing activity because I'm raising money for my business. I issue debentures, I issue public deposits, I issue bonds, I issue fixed deposits, financing activities. So issue of shares, debentures, fixed deposits, all that will be financing activity. Now see, you all have done SYBAF this sem only. Redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures. क्या होता है? Money raised, given back. So if I issue debentures, if I issue preference shares, when the time comes I have to repay. Equity shares, next year तुमको TY में आएगा. There's buyback of shares. Buyback of share is nothing but redemption of equity shares. But for preference shares, we use the word redemption. For equity, the word buyback is used. So buybacking the share, that means when I issued, I collected money. Now the time for repayment has come, I give it back. So raising money, repaying money, financing activity. Issue of shares, buyback of shares, financing activity. Issue of preference shares, redemption of preference shares, financing activity. Issue of debentures, redemption of debentures, financing activity. Plus, what happened here? What I told you, when you make investment, you get interest, dividend, rent if you have invested in property. Same way यहाँ पे मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया, अंडरस्टैंड दिस, यहाँ पे मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया, सो आई गॉट इनकम. यहाँ पे आई एम रेजिंग मनी. When I issue shares, let it be equity or preference, I will pay dividend. Payment of dividend, financing activities. When I issue debentures, I will have to pay interest, financing activities. Equity में, final dividend when I pay, interim dividend when I pay, you all have done in final accounts. Whatever is the dividend, interim or final, I pay when I issue shares. So that also will be a part of financing activity. Getting it? So cash flow from financing activity means money raised, collected or repaid for all financial transaction where there is receipt and payment of money connected only through sources of finance like what I mentioned, issue of shares, redemption of shares, issue of shares, buyback of shares, issue of debentures, redemption of debentures, and when you raise finance, you pay interest, you pay dividend, all that will be come. Getting it? So, cash flow statement will be classified in three categories: operating, investing, and financing. Okay? अभी देखो, before I go to the statement, what I told you, example में, I am making cash flow statement of 2024. I am making cash flow statement of 2024. 50,000 का 1,50,000 हुआ. That means 1 lakh बड़ा, 1 lakh बड़ा. Now what will happen? When I make the statement, I will divide the statement in 3. Now your answer has to be such, जो भी आंसर आया यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव या नेगेटिव, जो भी आंसर आया यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव या नेगेटिव, कैसे करना वील सी इन सम टाइम. वट एवर आंसर यू गेट, पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव. सो द आंसर ऑफ ए प्लस द आंसर ऑफ बी प्लस द आंसर ऑफ सी has to be equal to 1 lakh. That is your cash flow statement. Okay, that is your cash flow statement. So when I make the statement, I will divide in 3 parts. First, cash flow from operating activities. Second, cash flow from investing activities. And third, cash flow from financing activities. What comes in what, I have already explained you. and whatever you get the answer A plus B plus C. Sometimes bank balance may go up, sometimes it may come down, but net effect तीनों का as per this example has to be equal to 1 lakh. Whatever is the answer, A plus B plus C has to be equal to difference between the cash and bank balance. As I told you, यहाँ पे I have just given bank. अगर कैश इन हैंड और बैंक रहेगा तो दोनों का टोटल्स कंपेयर करना है. अगर बैंक ओडी है तो बैंक ओडी माइनस करके कंपेयर करना है. दैट विल सी एट अ लेटेस्ट स्टेज. राइट नाउ आई एम जस्ट फोकसिंग ऑन द बेसिक. Got it, guys? So this was basic introduction. What do you mean by cash flow statement? अभी बनाना कैसे है? I will discuss the full proforma. I'm just pausing the video. I'll make the cash flow statement का proforma and discuss in depth with you all. Okay? I'll just be back, guys. Okay, guys, see what you will do. Give the heading cash flow statement of dash 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 for the year dash dash dash. Whatever is the year in the question, you have to pull it. Now remember, if they give you 2 years, your year will be the second year. जैसे मैंने example दिया 2023-24, they give you 2 years का balance sheet. So it has to be cash flow statement for the year 2024. If they give you 22-23, it has to be for the year 2023. Got it? Now let's start. Again I am repeating, थोड़ा video बड़ा होगा explanation में, but this is the best way to learn. Take my words, ध्यान से सुनना, so that when I do the first sum, that will become very very simple for you all. Okay, चलो. A, the first activity, we start like that. A, as I told you, the first activity, cash flow from operating activities. Okay. Cash flow from operating activities. What I told you, operating activities. Operating activities means cash generated, cash created or cash gone out of your day-to-day business activities. Now you all know, every year we prepare final accounts. Let it be a company or a sole trader or a partnership firm or an LLP. We find out profit or loss. So when I make the cash flow statement, when I start, the first thing in the starting, that is A part, cash flow from operating activities का first item will be net profit. We will always start with net profit. And net profit will be nothing but the difference in your P&L का balance. Net profit will be nothing but the difference in your P&L का balance. उसमें there are 1 or 2 things. I am not getting into that right now. Later on, when the right time comes, I get it. Now see, whatever is the net profit, you will put it in the second column. Whatever is the net profit, you will put it in the second column. How will you get the net profit? Compare P&L का balance. If I am making cash flow for 2023-24, last year का P&L 1 lakh है, current year का P&L 2 lakh है. So 1 lakh became 2 lakh. So 1 lakh बढ़ा. So current year का 2 lakh, last year का 1, 2 minus 1. My net profit you will write here is 1 lakh rupees. My net profit, what you will write here will be 1 lakh. In short, net profit का amount will be the difference between the P&L का figures. 2024, the latest year, minus 2023. I am assuming 2024, so I'll just keep in mind 23 and 24. Okay. Now, what is the heading? Cash flow from operating activities. Now, when I say net profit, the net profit which we calculate is the profit for the company as a whole. The net profit which we calculate has to be the net profit for the company as a whole. जिसमें ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट भी आता है, नॉन ऑपरेटिंग भी आता है. वी वांट ओनली ऑपरेटिंग. We want only operating. So what we will do is we will adjust the non-operating items. So what you will do, इसके नीचे add. Now understand the headings. There will be three things. Non-operating expenses slash non-cash expenses, and it is not written, but I'll add it so that there is no confusion. So what you have to do is, to your net profit, you will add non-operating expenses, non-cash expenses and appropriations. तीनों में क्या क्या होता है? Non-operating expenses incurred which are not connected with your day-to-day business activities. You all have done in vertical financial statement. Loss by fire, non-operating. Loss by theft, non-operating. Loss on sale of investments, non-operating. Loss on sale of fixed assets, non-operating. Fixed assets, you are using it for your business. अभी यहाँ पे AC चालू है. AC I use it for my business. Student जो ऑफलाइन बैठते हैं उनके लिए AC का कूलिंग आता है, इसके लिए AC चाहिए. ना अगर ये खराब हो गया, tomorrow I go to sell it, I make a profit or a loss. My regular business is not to sell AC, so it becomes a non-operating loss. Clear? So non-operating expense means those expenses which are not connected with your day-to-day business activity. जैसे मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया, लॉस बाय फायर, डेली आग नहीं लगेगा. लॉस बाय थेफ्ट, रोज चोरी नहीं होगी. लॉस ऑन सेल ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, नॉट अ बिजनेस एक्टिविटी. लॉस ऑन सेल ऑफ फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, नॉट अ बिजनेस एक्टिविटी. That is non-operating expense. Non-cash expense. Non-cash expense क्या होता है? You can make out from the word. Expense which is not paid in cash. It is an expense which is never paid in cash. सबसे best example you all have done in FYGC also. Depreciation. Have you ever heard depreciation के लिए इतना pay किया? No. So depreciation is a non-cash expense. Because अगर suppose आज मैंने 5 लाख का मशीनरी लिया, I will use it for say 10 years. So 5 lakh divided by 10. Every year का मेरा cost depre is 50,000. I will not pay every year. I am making cash flow statement. So I want cash transactions. So to get the cash amount, I'll have to adjust non-cash expense. So depreciation on fixed assets, and you can say expenses written off like goodwill written off, share issue expenses written off, preliminary expenses written off, discount on issue of debentures, discount on issue of shares written off. All that will be a part of non-cash expenses. Out of that, few you can also term it as non-operating expense. There is a difference of opinion, but right now just focus on the basic. Got it? So the best example non-cash mein depreciation, goodwill written off. It will also include other fictitious assets like share issue expenses which you have incurred in the past and you write it off every year. You all have done that in company final accounts. Appropriations. Very simple, you all have done in final accounts. What we used to adjust in P&L in your reserves. What is appropriation? It means voluntary transfer or transfer to reserve which is required under the Act. Example, transferring an amount to general reserve, appropriation. Transferring an amount to CRR, जो तुमने redemption of preference shares में किया. Transferring the amount to DRR, जो तुमने debenture redemption of debentures में किया. Then paying dividend. When you pay dividend on equity shares, pay provide नहीं, provide is a contingent liability. When you pay dividend on equity shares, let it be final dividend, let it be interim dividend, appropriations. When you pay dividend on preference shares, appropriation. So payment of dividend on shares is also a part of appropriations. Got it? So non-operating expense, loss by fire, loss by theft, loss on sale of assets, investment, non-cash expenses, depreciation, goodwill written off, share issue expense written off, other non-operating, fictitious asset written off, all comes in that. And appropriation, as I told you, transfer to reserves, payments of dividend. Now I am not writing all the list. All the items what I explained you which comes under these three categories, what you will do now? You will just keep on putting in the first column. Okay, this is just a discussion of the format. You will keep on writing in the first column. तीनों का total you take it in the second column. Okay, तीनों का total you take it in the second column. Then what you do? This plus this you add it. Understand where I am putting crosses in which column and just focus on the basic. After this, I have made a basic question of my own. I will solve that with y'all. That will give you a lot of confidence and you will say मजा आ रहा है ये chapter बहुत interesting लग रहा है. Provided you listen to this. Even if you listen and you get 50-60% of the concept, it's fine. When I do the first sum, basic sum, before I take sums from our question sheet, I will do that extra question. You will say it's a very, very nice and interesting chapter. So subcut items amount in the first column, take the total in the second column and add it to the net profit. Now मैंने add किया. Now what I do? From this, what I will deduct is non-operating incomes. Non-operating incomes. यहाँ पे non-cash income नहीं होता and appropriation is an expense, not a receipt. So only non-operating income. क्या होता है? As I told you, loss on sale of asset, non-operating expense. Profit on sale of asset, non-operating income. Loss on sale of fixed asset, non-operating expense. Profit on sale of fixed assets, non-operating income. When you make investment which has got no connection with your business activity, the interest what I get, the dividend what I get, that also will be your non-operating income. That also will be your non-operating income. So non-operating income means profit on sale of investments, profit on sale of assets, and the investment what you have made, the interest what you get, the dividend what you get, all that comes under non-operating income. In the sum we will do in detail. So what you do? Whatever are the non-operating incomes in the question, again put it in the first column, take the answer in the second column. Okay, take the answer in the second column. Now listen, what you will do? This minus this. You will write this answer. Heading A will consume the maximum space. The final answer will come in the third column. You must be wondering, sir ने 3 column क्यों बनाया? Final answer of A, final answer of B, final answer of C will come in the third column. Now what you will write against this? हमने क्या किया? Net profit में non cash non operating expense adjust किया, non operating income adjust किया. So now what happens? The concept is what? Heading क्या है? Cash flow from operating activities. Heading क्या है? Cash flow from operating activities. मैंने non operating activities को adjust कर दिया. So now I started with net profit. So this what I get, this answer will be my operating profit before. Now understand this what I am writing. Working capital changes. So the answer what I get here will be operating profit before working capital changes. Operating profit before working capital changes. That means what? The profit what I have earned from my regular business activity, but I am yet to make adjustment of working capital. I am coming to that. Got it? Now I will make adjustment of working capital. So what you will do for better presentation, इसके नीचे give the subheading working capital changes. Give the subheading working capital changes. ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट बिफोर वर्किंग कैपिटल चेंजेस के नीचे गिव द सब हेडिंग वर्किंग कैपिटल चेंजेस. नाउ लिसन, वर्किंग कैपिटल में क्या आता है? You all know na, you all have done in final accounts FA में, in this subject MA में you all have done vertical balance sheet. What is working capital? You all have done in this same chapter working capital also, यही subject. It is the difference between your current assets and current liability. Working capital is the difference between your current asset and current liability. Working capital is difference between current asset and current liability. So what I have to do? I have to adjust current assets and current liability. I have to adjust current asset and current liability. Now guys listen. हम क्या बना रहे? What we are making is cash flow statement. Now see. I'll just write it here. Working capital is current asset minus current liability. Now see, you have to compare each current asset, you have to compare each current liability, you have to compare each current asset, you have to compare each current liability. Now let's take one by one. First I will take current asset. Okay, now when I take current asset ना, याद रखना कैश एंड बैंक नहीं आएगा. करंट एसेट्स में कैश एंड बैंक नहीं आएगा बिकॉज दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट. सो व्हेन आई एडजस्ट यू विल नॉट एडजस्ट कैश एंड बैंक बिकॉज जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में बोला A plus B plus C has to be equal to the difference of bank balance. Now let's say for example debtors. Okay, I'll go step by step. मेरा लास्ट ईयर का डेटर 1 लाख है. मेरा लास्ट ईयर का डेटर 1 लाख है. मेरा करंट ईयर का डेटर 80 है. अंडरस्टैंड द लॉजिक. माय लास्ट ईयर का डेटर इज 1 लाख एंड माय करंट ईयर का डेटर इज 80,000. दैट मीन्स कैन आई से reduce by 20? Now tell me from the company's point of view this is good or bad? बोलो. लास्ट ईयर का डेटर 1 लाख, करंट ईयर का डेटर 80. इट इज गुड और बैड? I'll tell you, it is good. Why? लास्ट ईयर के बैलेंस शीट में मुझे डेटर से 1 लाख लेने का बाकी था. लास्ट ईयर के बैलेंस शीट में मुझे डेटर से 1 लाख लेने का बाकी था, whereas ये साल 80,000 ही बाकी है. Who is debtor? Debtor are the people from whom I have to recover money. लास्ट ईयर मेरा रिकवरी 1 लाख था, करंट ईयर में मेरा रिकवरी 80,000 है. दैट मीन्स व्हाट? आई हैव सेव्ड 20,000 ऑन रिकवरी. As compared to last year, my investment in debtors is less by 20. मैंने पैसा कम इन्वेस्ट किया डेटर्स में. सो कम इन्वेस्ट किया, इन्वेस्टमेंट होता नहीं है डेटर्स में फ्रॉम द कॉन्सेप्ट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. मनी इज ब्लॉक्ड, सो यू कैन नॉट यूज अवर डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट. बट तुम्हारा पैसा अटका है ना, यू सेल गुड्स ऑन क्रेडिट टू डेटर्स, तो पैसा आने का बाकी है, योर मनी इज ब्लॉक्ड. सो लास्ट ईयर 1 लाख ब्लॉक था, करंट ईयर में 80. दैट मीन्स 20,000 मेरा लेस ब्लॉक हुआ, तो आई जनरेटेड एडिशनल कैश. सेम वे सपोज मेरा स्टॉक है 80 और 50. लास्ट ईयर मेरा स्टॉक का ब्लॉक था 80, नाउ 50. ये टाइम 30,000 का अमाउंट स्टॉक में कम ब्लॉक हुआ है. इस साल स्टॉक में 30,000 का अमाउंट कम ब्लॉक हुआ है, so I have generated that cash. So what you will do? Working capital changes में what you will do is you will add decrease in current assets. You will add decrease in current assets. See, I'll tell you. I'm telling you honestly. आधा दिन तुम लोग सोच रहे सर क्या पका रहा है. पका नहीं रहा हूं. आफ्टर आई फिनिश द चैप्टर सबको याद रहेगा. हाँ, एड डिक्रीज इन करंट एसेट, एड डिक्रीज इंक्रीज इन करंट लायबिलिटी, एड लेस एड लेस. अरे लेकिन क्यों करना है? दिस इज दैट लॉजिक. So decrease in current asset will increase my cash flow, so I add it. Getting it? Now coming to current liability, again I will come to current assets. Say for example creditors है. Say for example creditors है. लास्ट ईयर का क्रेडिटर्स से मेरा 1 लाख है. करंट ईयर का मेरा क्रेडिटर हो गया 125. लास्ट ईयर का क्रेडिटर 1 लाख है एंड करंट ईयर का मेरा क्रेडिटर हो गया 25. दैट मीन्स कैन आई से माय क्रेडिटर्स हैव इंक्रीज बाय 25? टेल मी इट इज गुड और बैड? कीप इन माइंड ये एसेट था, ये लायबिलिटी था. यहां पे मुझे लेना था, जितना कम लेना बेटर. यहां पे आई हैव टू पे, मुझे देना है. जितना मैं डिले करूंगा उतना पैसा मैं और किधर यूज कर सकता हूं. सो इंक्रीज इन क्रेडिटर्स इज गुड फॉर मी, डिक्रीज इन डेटर्स इज गुड फॉर मी. सो डिक्रीज इन करंट एसेट विल इंक्रीज माय कैश फ्लो. लास्ट ईयर मुझे 1 लाख देना था, करंट ईयर में 125 देना है. दैट मीन्स 25,000 और देने का बाकी है. अंडरस्टैंड दिस लॉजिक. 25,000 और देने का बाकी है. दैट मीन्स उतना पैसा मैं यूज कर रहा हूं, मेरे पास वो कैश है. आई एम यूजिंग दैट मनी, आई एम नॉट पेइंग टू माई क्रेडिटर्स. तो मैं यूज कर रहा हूं तो मेरा कैश फ्लो बढ़ रहा है. सो दिस विल इंक्रीज माई कैश फ्लो. सो अगेन व्हाट आई डू, add increase in current liabilities. Add sorry, add increase in current liabilities. Got it? Understand the logic. अभी देखो addition हो गया. Now I come reverse way. There will be 4 things here. Now let's take current asset. Again I come to debtors or say I come to stock. लास्ट ईयर मेरा 1 लाख है, नाउ हो गया 120. डेटाज, नाउ दिस इज बैड. लास्ट ईयर मुझे 1 लाख लेना था, अभी 120 लेना है. दैट मीन्स एज कंपेयर टू लास्ट ईयर, दैट मीन्स एज कंपेयर टू लास्ट ईयर मेरा 20,000 का पैसा ज्यादा ब्लॉक हुआ है. एज कंपेयर टू लास्ट ईयर मेरा 20,000 का पैसा ज्यादा ब्लॉक हुआ है. पैसा ज्यादा ब्लॉक हुआ है मतलब मेरा कैश फ्लो कम हो गया. सो नाउ आई विल रिड्यूस. कंपेयर दिस. 1 लाख का 80 था, मेरा 20,000 कम ब्लॉक हुआ. यहाँ पे 1 का 120 हुआ, 20,000 ज्यादा ब्लॉक हुआ, तो कैश फ्लो कम. सो व्हाट यू विल डू, इफ आई एड डिक्रीज इन करंट एसेट बाय दिस लॉजिक, I will reduce increase in current asset by this logic. So what I will do is less increase in current assets. Less increase in current assets. Got it guys? So decrease in current asset, add, इंक्रीज इन करंट एसेट रिड्यूस. आफ्टर द चैप्टर ना सबको याद रहेगा. डिक्रीज इन करंट एसेट ऐड करना है, इंक्रीज इन लायबिलिटी ऐड करना है, ये माइनस करना है. इन क्यू गेट द लॉजिक. आई होप नाउ यू ऑल नो फोर्थ वाला क्या आएगा. करंट लायबिलिटी, क्रेडिटर 1 का 125. लेट्स टेक द रिवर्स वे. 125 था, 1 लाख हुआ. लास्ट ईयर मुझे 125 पे करना था. लास्ट ईयर मुझे 125 पे करना था, करंट ईयर में मुझे 1 लाख पे करना है. दैट मीन्स लास्ट ईयर मुझे 25 का एडिशनल क्रेडिट था. यहां पे इन दिस ईयर 25,000 का क्रेडिट कम हो गया. लास्ट ईयर 125 का क्रेडिट था, मतलब 25 का एक्स्ट्रा क्रेडिट था. नाउ इट इज 1 लाख. सो आई एंजॉयड अ हायर क्रेडिट इन द प्रीवियस ईयर. ये साल मेरा क्रेडिट कम हुआ. दैट मीन्स आई हैव मेड पेमेंट्स. इफ आई हैव मेड पेमेंट्स, cash comes down. So what you will do, less decrease in current liabilities. Okay, so what you will do, जिधर less है उधर माइनस या तो ब्रैकेट्स में लिखना. Getting it guys? ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. understand this, one of the most important part of this chapter. So I'll repeat, you will add decrease in current assets, you will add increase in current liabilities, you will deduct increase in current assets and deduct decrease in current liability. Logic क्या है? This what I told you. Logic is this what I told you. Got it? Now see, इसका फाइनल आंसर यू विल टेक इट हियर. पॉजिटिव रहा तो पॉजिटिव और अगर माइनस है तो माइनस. गेटिंग इट? इफ द टोटल ऑफ ऑल फोर, मतलब ये दोनों को ऐड करके ये माइनस करने के बाद पॉजिटिव है तो पॉजिटिव और अगर नेगेटिव है तो पुट इट इन ब्रैकेट्स. नाउ व्हाट यू विल डू, दिस प्लस दिस और माइनस दिस, द आंसर व्हाट यू गेट विल बी योर, ये क्या था, operating profit before working capital changes. Now you are smart enough to know what I am going to write. Operating profit before working capital changes. I have made working capital changes. So now what you will do? You will write there operating profit after working capital changes. Operating profit after working capital changes. Operating profit after working capital changes. Got it, guys? As I told you, the first section, the A part, cash flow from operating activities will take maximum time. Now इसमें एक step last रह गया. After this, you all know, you all are doing since FYJC something called as income tax. Every company has to pay income tax. So what will happen? To get the final operating activities, I will have to adjust my income tax liability. You know why? Because when I pay income tax, I pay income tax on my total income, which will include operating income as well as non-operating income. इनकम टैक्स बोलता है तुम कौन सा भी इनकम कमाओ, जो भी इनकम है उसके ऊपर हमें टैक्स दो, फिर वो तुम्हारा नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम हो या ऑपरेटिंग इनकम हो, दैट इज नॉट आवर कंसर्न. माय हेडिंग इज व्हाट, कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज. सो टू गेट द करेक्ट कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज, सिंस इनकम टैक्स ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स टैक्स ऑन नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम टू and also prescribed as per the format, I will deduct from this the income tax paid. So what you will do is less income tax paid, this you will deduct. Income tax payment या तो तुमको एडजस्टमेंट में दिया रहेगा डायरेक्टली, और आफ्टर द स्टेटमेंट फ्रॉम द सेकेंड थर्ड क्लास, second or the third session, we will have, sorry, third or fourth session, we will have to make working notes. So there will be situation where तुम्हें provision for tax का working note बनाना पड़ेगा. So if they don't give you directly, you will get it from the working note. वो working note कैसे बनाना, that we will see when the right time comes. वो working note कैसे बनाना, that we will see when the right time comes. Got it, guys? So this is the format. Now listen, मेरा heading क्या है, cash flow from operating activity. Now see what you will do. ध्यान से देखो, this minus this, not in this line, इसके next वाला line में you will write the final answer. You will write the final answer. Final answer may be positive or negative. I'll repeat, this minus this, इनकम टैक्स पेड की लाइन में नहीं, इनकम टैक्स पेड की लाइन में नहीं, उसके नेक्स्ट लाइन में पॉजिटिव स्लैश नेगेटिव ए. नाउ लिसन व्हाट यू विल राइट. हेडिंग क्या है, कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज. सो व्हाट यू विल राइट इज नेट इंक्रीज स्लैश डिक्रीज. ये तो फॉर्मेट है. व्हेन यू डू द एक्चुअल सम, अगर पॉजिटिव है तो इंक्रीज लिखोगे, अगर नेगेटिव है तो डिक्रीज लिखोगे. पॉजिटिव है तो इंक्रीज लिखोगे, नेगेटिव है तो डिक्रीज लिखोगे. नेट इंक्रीज डिक्रीज इन कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम operating activities. Okay, and you will call it as E. Net increase or decrease in cash from operating activities and this you will make it as A. This you will make it as A. Clear with this, guys? Got it? So this is my cash flow from operating activities. When we do the actual sum, तुम्हारा 3/4 of the page, 3/4 of the page will go in this. Got it? So A part done. I'll repeat. Third column में इसके नीचे positive, negative जो भी आंसर आया. If it is positive, net increase in cash flow from operating activities, and negative है तो net decrease in cash. Sorry, not flow. Net decrease in cash from operating activities. Now B and C part, I'll just rub this part and I'll be back. Okay guys, the B part, cash flow from investing activities. As I explained in the starting, now it's very simple. इसमें जितना टाइम लगा ना उससे आधा टाइम पूरे बैलेंस पार्ट में जाएगा. B, cash flow from investing activities. What I explained in the starting, investing activities में क्या होता है? You buy assets, fixed assets, not current because current यहाँ पे adjust होता है. You buy investments, at the same time you sell. Then what happens? When you buy assets or when you invest, you get interest, you get dividend. So all of that will come. So what I'll do, because the items are limited, I'll just put a little bit of brief. Say purchase of fixed assets, purchase of investments, then you have sale. I'm just putting in brackets दोनों एक साथ. Say 1 minute, I'll do one thing. Purchase of साथ में लिखता हूँ so that I use less lines. Purchase of fixed assets / investment. Now listen, when I buy, money goes out. So इसका amount you will put it in brackets. यहाँ पे कोई भी brackets नहीं था. This was for presentation. But यहाँ पे मैं पैसा पे करता हूँ. पैसा पे करूंगा तो माइनस में आएगा या ब्रैकेट्स में, एंड अगर पैसा आएगा तो पॉजिटिव. At the same time, if I sell, say sale of fixed assets or investment, पैसा आएगा, so that will be positive. When I do the first sum, पूरा clear होएगा. Right now, just understand the explanation. Take my words, even if you get 50% of this ना, when I do the actual sum, तुम्हारा concept एकदम clear हो जाएगा. And you will say, sir, बहुत मजा आ रहा है. This is a very interesting chapter. But concept and the base has to be clear. Okay. So purchase of fixed asset investment पैसा जाएगा. Sale of fixed asset investment पैसा आएगा. When you invest, you will get interest dividend. So interest dividend received, that will come here. Remember, this is a non-operating income. So that adjustment will be done here also. When I wrote here, I told you. Actual sum में देखेंगे कैसा करना है. So these are the transactions connected with investing activity. Buying and selling of fixed assets, investment, and getting income on that. Again, when you sell, profit loss जो भी आया, यहाँ पे ग्रॉस अमाउंट आएगा, प्रॉफिट और लॉस यहाँ पे एडजस्ट होगा, बट इंटरेस्ट डिविडेंड इधर अलग से आएगा. दैट वी विल सी व्हेन वी कम टू द एक्चुअल सम. नाउ व्हाट यू विल डू, ये तीनों का टोटल, ये लाइन में नहीं, नेक्स्ट लाइन में आई एम पुटिंग पॉजिटिव / नेगेटिव, बिकॉज आंसर पॉजिटिव भी आ सकता है, आंसर नेगेटिव भी आ सकता है. नाउ देखो यहाँ पे क्या लिखा, ए. सो हियर व्हाट आई विल राइट, B. ये क्या था? Cash flow from operating activities. So we wrote net increase, decrease in cash from operating activities. Simple. Here I will write net increase slash decrease in cash from investing activities. Okay, net increase slash decrease in cash from investing activities. Net increase slash decrease in cash from investing activities. Got it? पॉजिटिव रहेगा तो इंक्रीज, नेगेटिव रहेगा तो डिक्रीज. इट कांट बी बोथ. क्लियर विद दिस गाइस? नाउ वी कम टू द लास्ट एक्टिविटी. इसके नीचे एक लाइन छोड़ने के बाद नाउ यू विल राइट कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज. कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम financing activities. Cash flow from financing activities. What I told you starting में, financing activities में क्या क्या आएगा? Issue of shares, equity preference, issue of debentures. You are raising money, correct? Then if you raise money, time आने पे pay करना पड़ता है. Redemption of debentures, starting में मैंने explain किया. Redemption of preference shares. नेक्स्ट ईयर तुमको टीवाई में आएगा बाय बैक ऑफ शेयर्स, मनी गोज आउट. ओके, सो लेट्स टेक वन बाय वन. आई विल पुट इट इन वन लाइन ओनली. इश्यू ऑफ शेयर्स, डिबेंचर्स. व्हेन आई से शेयर्स, प्रेफरेंस भी आ गया, इक्विटी भी आ गया. देन रिडम्पशन ऑफ शेयर्स, डिबेंचर्स. As I told you, preference shares के लिए भी use the word redemption, इक्विटी के लिए भी यूज द वर्ड बायबैक. बट बायबैक तुम्हारे एसवाई के सिलेबस में नहीं है, इसके लिए वेरी रेयर दे लास्ट. नाउ सी, व्हेन आई से इश्यू, पैसा आ रहा है, मनी कम्स इन, सो पॉजिटिव. एंड व्हेन आई रिडीम, आई गिव इट बैक, पैसा जा रहा है तो माइनस और ब्रैकेट्स. ओके, सो इश्यू ऑफ शेयर्स डिबेंचर, मनी कम्स इन, and redemption of shares debenture, money goes out. Clear with this guys? Now what I told you, when I invest I get interest dividend. When I raise money, people are giving me the money, I'll have to pay interest and dividend. तो यहाँ पे received आया तो यहाँ पे आएगा interest slash dividend paid. Again when I come to the actual sum, we will see in detail कैसे present करना. अभी देखो ये पे है, सो व्हेन आई से पे आई विल पुट इट इन ब्रैकेट. वहां पे रिसीव था तो पॉजिटिव था, यहाँ पे मैं पे करूंगा तो नेगेटिव. गॉट इट? सो दिस इज कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज. नाउ व्हाट यू विल डू, द टोटल ऑफ दिस, नॉट इन दिस लाइन, उसके बाद वाले लाइन में यू विल पुट इट इन ब्रैकेट्स, कॉल इट एज सी. You will put it in brackets, call it as C, and what you will do? Understood? ऊपर क्या लिखा? Net increase stroke decrease in cash flow from, ऊपर इन्वेस्टिंग था तो यहां हो जाएगा financing activities. So net increase decrease in cash flow from financing activities. Okay, that becomes C. I'll repeat, positive रहेगा तो net increase, negative रहेगा तो net decrease. Got it guys? Now listen. Starting में I gave you a hypothetical figure. Last year का बैंक 50,000, करंट ईयर का जो इंक्रीज हुआ, जो भी डिफरेंस है, अगेन सपोज लास्ट ईयर का मेरा बैंक बैलेंस था 50 और ये साल का मेरा है 150, सो कितना बढ़ा? 1 लाख. सो नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन गाइस, आफ्टर दिस इफ यू वांट टू लीव अ लाइन, लीव अ लाइन. you will write A plus B plus C. That means what? This answer plus this answer plus this answer has to be, according to this example, 1 lakh rupees. Always it has to be same. Same matlab whatever is the difference between cash bank balance, it has to be this. If not, that means तुमने कुछ गड़बड़ किया है, you cross check. So one way you can assure yourself that you are on the right track. So A plus B plus C has to be equal to the difference between cash and bank balance. Again, it can be positive or negative. And what you will write against this? A के सामने we wrote operating, B के सामने investing, C के सामने finance. Here you will write net increase / decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase / decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase / decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Clear with this, guys? Got it? What I told you for this chapter, cash and cash equivalent will mean cash in hand, cash at bank, as well as bank overdraft. Cash in hand, cash at bank, as well as bank overdraft. Now guys, after this, there's a little bit of more presentation. See, yaad hai I told you, last year ka bank balance 50 and current year ka bank balance 150. What I told you, when you do this working capital changes, when I consider the current asset, when I do the working capital changes, when I consider the current assets or current liability, you will not take cash, bank and bank only. Why not to take? Because of this reason. तो क्या करूंगा? See, I'm just putting side पे जो मैंने आंसर दिया ना, one minute, just take another pen. ये मेरा आंसर कितना आया? 1 lakh. कैसे 1 lakh? 50 and 150. Now the next 2-3 lines are just for presentation. ये 1 lakh है. Now what I'll do? Understand this, huh? मेरा opening cash कितना है? Bank balance 50. So what I'll do to this? This is for presentation. Add cash and cash equivalent. You will write there at the beginning. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning. Beginning matlab simple opening balance of cash and bank. But these are the words used in cash flow statement. Whatever is the answer in the balance sheet, you will put it here. Now see, in this example, first day kitna tha mera? 50,000. So my opening on the first day is 50,000. My opening on the first day is 50,000. Now listen guys, last year 50, 1 lakh bada, so automatically this plus this equal to closing. So now what will happen? 1 lakh plus 50, 150, this has to be my cash and cash equivalent at the end. It has to be my cash and cash equivalent at the end. So इसके सामने मतलब after adding this, as I told you, for this sum, this has to be 1 lakh and this is 50. Automatically 1 lakh plus 50 is 150. So this, whatever is the amount, ये सब में 150 है. Whatever you write, it has to be equal to your closing cash and cash equivalent. So now what you will do? You have added cash and cash equivalent at the beginning. Against that, you will write cash and cash equivalent at the end. Beginning means opening, end means closing. So जो भी मेरा difference है, A plus B plus C add करो, that will give you cash and cash equivalent at the end. That will give you cash and cash equivalent at the end. This is the base of cash flow statement. Don't get bored. I'm telling you, understand this. Thoda boring lagega. I understand if I was a student. But when I start the sum, again I am repeating. Even if you have followed 50-16% of this now, you will enjoy this chapter further. अब तुम लोग ही बोलोगे सर मस्त चैप्टर है मजा आ रहा है करने में. That take my words. But इसको understand properly. Got it, guys? So this was the base of cash flow statement. I'll repeat, classified in 3 categories: ऑपरेटिंग, इन्वेस्टिंग, फाइनेंस. वापस रिपीट नहीं करूंगा, वीडियो बहुत लंबा हो जाएगा. स्टार्टिंग से बराबर देख लेना. And whatever answer you get, A plus B plus C has to be equal to the difference of cash and cash equivalent on the starting and the end of the year. And cash and cash equivalent for this chapter would mean cash in hand, cash at bank, and bank OD. A plus B plus C has to be equal to the difference. Add opening, that is cash and cash equivalent at the beginning. So this plus this end में the answer has to be cash and cash equivalent at the end. So your cash flow statement will end with cash and cash equivalent ka closing, that is end ka balance. Got it, guys? Now see, I'll be taking the next 2 classes. Now this video is open on YouTube. If I feel ना जो फर्स्ट सम मैं सॉल्व करूंगा ना बेसिक, मैं इसमें ऐड कर सकता हूँ, तो 2 घंटे का वीडियो हो जाएगा, नो प्रॉब्लम. और आई विल अपलोड इट सेपरेटली. बट जो नेक्स्ट मैंने खुद का सम बनाया, दैट ऑल्सो आई एम मेकिंग इट पब्लिक. ईदर आई विल एड इट टू दिस वीडियो और आई विल अपलोड इट सेपरेटली. उसके बाद व्हेन आई डू द फर्दर सम्स, इन एवरी सम देयर विल बी वर्किंग नोट्स. वर्किंग नोट में यू हैव टू जस्ट मेक 4-5 लाइंस का अकाउंट. जैसे फिक्स एसेट का अकाउंट बनाना पड़ेगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट का अकाउंट बनाना पड़ेगा, प्रोविजन टैक्स का अकाउंट बनाना पड़ेगा अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंफॉर्मेशन इन द क्वेश्चन. बट आफ्टर दिस सेशन, द नेक्स्ट 2 सेशंस आई विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन बेसिक सम्स without any working notes, and then after 2 classes I will take working notes. Got it, guys? So hope the concept of cash flow is very clear. I have tried to explain in depth matlab what I can make you understand in the first class. There are few more things I won't discuss now because bouncer jayega. So whatever is relevant from the first class point of view, I have discussed with you all. Hope you all enjoy this, and please again I am repeating, don't make that conclusion बहुत boring था. नहीं, you have to understand 50-60%. If you have understood this, even 50-60%, वापस वही repeat कर रहा हूँ, you will find the remaining chapter very interesting. That's it, guys. I wind up here. In the next class, I will solve that sum what I have made, and if required, I'll join with this video so that there is a proper link, or I may upload separately on YouTube. That's it, guys. See you all in the next class.